Hey guys, I'm just doing some painting here. Gonna be painting up this Marvel Symbiote Venom Xenomorph thing, which is pretty freaking cool. I've been really wanting to paint it. I think I'm gonna be painting it red. I just got done primering it black, and so I like using a lot of contrast paints, so I'm gonna be using contrast paints, or I guess speed paints too, which these are amazing. Especially the new 2.0s by armypainter. I actually tend to like these paints a lot more than the Games Workshop contrast paints. I just like the colors better. So anyway, starting slap chop, you gotta do a bunch of dry brushing. Some people do different. They might dry brush gray and then like brighter colors. I usually just go use an off-white like Corax white. So just using a little. We want to get most of this paint off. Trying to get all the nice surfaces here, because all this stuff is gonna pop when I put that red on there. And I've always been a big fan of red xenomorphs. They've never shown them in the movies, which is a shame, because I think that would be something different they can do instead of the typical kind of xenomorph movies they usually do. The red xenomorphs are just super cool. You see, look at that, it's already starting to. And you can put too, if you don't get enough white off the brush, can end up not exactly getting the desired effect. Or I mean, you can, it's just it doesn't look as good. Get the mouth a little bit. And we'll have this head of a xenomorph be a classic one. Back legs. Hopefully I don't break this tail. Breaking the tail would be annoying. So one thing I learned is once you break something that's resin, never quite the same after that. Even when you glue it back together, it's just not quite as strong once it breaks. So you preferably don't want to break anything. It's a nice thing, at least when you have plastic models, and you can use plastic glue and it works fine. Some of these other inner details don't super matter. A lot of people, they don't even do a lot of the stuff you won't necessarily see, but I like getting everything because it just makes the model overall look better. See if any of this stuff is dried out. His head. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. I like him. Let's see, any big spots I missed. Brush here. Now, actually, a really good thing to use with these would be like these markers you can also get from armypainter that has the speed paints in them. They work really good for controlling the flow. But I think because I haven't used these in like a few months, but we're just gonna brush it on. No big deal. Some speed paint. Let's see what this starts looking like. Oh man, that goes on really nice. And luckily he's just going to be a red Xenomorph. I don't know if you noticed, but I used a StarCraft 2 Space Marine shield as the thing he's sitting on. Since there must have been something I missed printing. I'm sure he had a base or something. I might have actually used it for another model, not realizing it's what he stood on. So this is what I had nearby. So I used the shield from a Marine, StarCraft Marine. We're just painting him up. Doesn't take very long to paint up a really cool model when you have speed paints, as long as you prep your model. There's been quite a few times where when I'm playing 40k, I'll print up an entire army over a weekend and get it tournament legal painted. At least 3 colors on it. And you can thank Slapshot painting and contrast paints for that. Man, look at him. He's so cool. And then I think what I'll do is I'll get some white on a brush and I'll get the, what is that, the Venom Spider-Man logo thing. I'll do that. So I'm getting his back here. You ideally want to try to be as clean as you can. You don't want to, if there's spots that you don't want like the red contrast to be, then you want to try to be as careful as you can. But otherwise, when I get another contrast paint, as long as I do things a bit clean, then it'll all blend together pretty well. Since contrasts are really good about shading things, and with that in mind, it kind of softens all the edges and stuff, so things just blend way better. I think I'm going to keep the end of this tail not red. I don't know what I'm going to paint it yet, though. Don't want to hit that Xenomorph. Got to go through the legs here. Get this tail. Sorry, I'm not used to painting under a camera, so I hope you have good visual of this. Okay, I think I have. I don't have too much on here. A little bit right here I missed. So I guess the next question is what should I put on these little, the little bit of piping? Actually, I have a pink contrast. Maybe I can use that to go down those sections. Or I could use a purplish one. Kind of hard choice. Now, I have seen some people complain about the speed paints, that it reactivates a little too easy if you're not careful. Which, I mean, I've never really had a big issue with it, because the way I paint, I have a lot of my stuff kind of blend together anyway, so if there's a little recess, it happens to be a little bit wet still. It's not always a big deal. But it might on other stuff that you paint. Okay. You know, it's funny, in the video, another video I talked about using Huggy wet wipes for cleaning up resins and stuff like that. It's good for paint stuff too when you're doing painting. Cleaning brushes, cleaning up paints. Sometimes I'll even kind of use it for dry brushing. Or even for a little bit of wet paletting kind of thing. Works pretty well. And whenever I wash my brushes too, I use alcohol. 90% usually, but 70% works just fine. Time being, I kind of want to try to do that piping a little bit. We're going to go back to Corax White a little bit. See if we can very carefully, even though it's still wet a little bit, it might be just fine. I just need just enough so it pops a little bit when... So can you see it on the camera? Yeah, you can. Gets a little red on it, but that's fine because we're just brightening this up a little bit. See, that's not bad. I'm going to do the same right here. Trying not to get it on the rest of it. Okay, a little more piping on there. It might go a little bit over on this. Uh-oh. Lost my white. Turned to red. Clean the brush a little bit. Try not to, but sometimes it still gets on there. Go back over this spot. Since the white dried a little bit, it kind of turned more red, and I kind of want to make it a little bit brighter. See. So all this, I think I'll use a pink contrast I have over here somewhere by me. I might need to find it in a minute. So otherwise, let's see if we can start brightening this a little bit. Edge it a little bit. See his little teeth right here. See if we can get that for it. Doesn't have to be a clean white or anything, because it's all going to kind of blend together so it looks a little more organic looking. So we're going to use familiar pink speed paint. We don't want all of it on there though. So. Oh yeah, that goes pretty well on there. See, it kind of just blends right in with that red. Even if you go over a little bit, probably not going to matter. You're probably not even going to notice the difference. And actually, you probably could go over this whole thing with the same familiar pink one over this red. Or better yet, if you really wanted to go more detailed, you could dry brush a little bit of white over all the little veins and stuff and then go over it with a little bit of the familiar pink, and so it's like the veins are popping out. Oh, here. Okay. Yeah, I can do a little bit more right there. And we're going to use... We want to use Black Templar. Games Workshop. Because that one's more of a translucent black. And so if you have a white underbase, it will show up a little bit in that. Pop out some of the higher details. And we're going to go over... Oops. So you can see it. Go over this Xenomorph a little bit. Because we're going to put this Black Templar over it. So it kind of looks like a normal Xenomorph. And then I'm going to go over this tail too, because I think I might just make it black or something. See what it looks like after we put some fresh white on it. Though it did tint a little bit red since there was a little bit of gut on the head there, but it's fine. No big deal. Really do enjoy these speed paints though, because they, in contrast, because it just does multiple jobs, you know. Because I always loved using shades, because you put the shades on last or during different parts of the process, it adds the shading, and especially if you're using bright colors, it can kind of blend all the edges together so it looks a little bit more organic. Let's see how this looks when we put a little bit of this black on here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this works great. Oh no! Get out of the red. We don't want no red Xenomorph on this. Normal Xenomorph. It's not good. I don't know if you can see it. The Black Templar. It's making all the highlighted points stick out. And all the recesses black, which Xenomorphs are, you know, dark. So I'm sure for some people painting them can be kind of a pain in the butt. That's why I like slap chopping it, because you just paint it black, dry brush a bunch of white on there, and then use a translucent black, which finding the right one can be a big pain in the butt too. I like Black Templar. There's some other brands that do some stuff. I know there's Acrylic Pro, something like that. This brand, they do a bunch of contrast-esque paints. I think they call them translucent. And I think we're going to go black over this tail. That way it kind of stands out a little bit. Get more of this pink and just put it over the red on the back of his skull right there. Use the same brush a little bit. So you go back here. Yeah, the pink stands out. Put it over the more, I guess you can say, vulnerable bits. Put it on the back of that. Oh, sorry. I gotta watch where that camera's at. Maybe stick it on the back of this thing at the ends of the pipes, and maybe go a little bit on the tail. Give it a little bit more of a wavy dabbing, I guess. Maybe a little bit on the shoulders. This could be a slightly different shade than even these parts, the pipes, that we put a little bit of white on. Let's kind of go over the body a little bit. It gives it all a bit of layering look. A little bit on the skull. you just kind of do whatever looks good, you know. It's looking pretty freaking cool so far, though. See, there's still the nails, though. What do we do the nails in? What do we do the nails in? Trying a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. How clear the video is. See the Xenomorph head right there. This is pretty cool. Though I guess Xenomorphs did always have more of a silvery teeth, huh? Question. Do I have a metal over here? I have Iron Warriors. It's one of my favorite metals. More of a kind of darker metal, but this is kind of a darker model, so don't necessarily need a bright silver. But you probably could. Probably make it pop better. Let's see if we can kind of barely touch it a little bit. Just ever so slight. And maybe come down here. Hopefully it's not too wet. Put a little bit of silver in the mouth of this black Xenomorph. Let's see. And you could leave it just like this, where it's not super pronounced, but it stands out. Because even on the camera you can see it stands out pretty well. Or we can use a different color to put over it. Wonder how yellow would look over it. Yellow contrast on here. Let's see what it looks like. Put a little yellow on there. If it mixes a little bit with the red, that is fine. Actually, I'm really liking how that's turning out. Go a little bit around it because if it blends a little bit, that's fine. It'll look a little more natural. Huh. Almost even looks more towards like a yellowish orange. Now it turned out pretty good. I think that looks really cool. See, is there anywhere else we could put some yellow? Or probably not. I wonder if we can put any on the tips of the fingers if that will make it stand out just enough. No, I need to dry brush a little bit of white first. So I think what we'll do is put a little bit of white on the fingernails and toenails, and then maybe we'll use that yellow, same yellow. Just enough. Just on the tips a little bit. Just a little bit. Try not to get any on the Xenomorph. And a little bit on the toes. Probably fine. And then put a little bit on the fingertips. So you kind of, yeah, I think it works out pretty good. Makes the nails pop out just a little bit. Put them on the toes. So you can see a little bit on the toes, see a little bit on the nails. I think we got all of it. I don't know what to do for this shield. Well, I guess if it is a StarCraft shield, could just do a blue. Got a little bit on the foot there, but that's fine. We only want to get just enough on here, really, so we can get some color on it. So we got some color on it. Alright, let's see how this contrasts stormfiend blue. We want to get some basing on there, and I tend to be more lazy in my basing. Mud basing. Try to not get it on the edge. If a little bit gets on the feet of the Xenomorph, that's fine because it's supposed to be like mud. Oops. See? I mean, the shield doesn't really exactly match the theme, I guess, but I mean, we have, what, Marvel, Symbiote, Xenomorph, StarCraft Marine shield. I'm going to do more of the basing. After that dries, you'd probably just get a brighter, maybe like a tan color or something, and go over all the basing. And then what I'd probably do is use like a brown shade and put it over it. And then go back over it with a tan color and dry brush over it again just to give it some depth and stuff. But I never usually care too much for basing. Basing has never really been my strong. I can't really do the cool diorama basing things. I've never been really good at that. But like mud basing and stuff, I can add different layers and stuff to it. You could probably do some flocking too. Put some bushes on there. Get all that off there. And then I think the last thing I'll do, and then probably call it quits on this for right now, is put a little bit of that metal color on a brush, get most of it out, do more towards the dry brushing thing, and then on that shield, kind of carefully there. Wonder if I have any actual blood technical paint here. That actually might go really good on that. Actually, a blood technical would probably go really good just putting all over the model. It's a red Xenomorph. Let's see if I have a blood technical right here. Put it on that. Now we have some blood. Oops. I had a little glue right there, so maybe I'll just make it a little bloody red so it looks like something got squished there. It's dripping on the side a little bit. Corner. Then the Xenomorph blood is green, isn't it? I don't know if I have a green blood one that's any good. This stuff, I use this on all my Nurgle stuff. Actually, I might have a fresher bottle, right? Yeah, I do have a fresher bottle. I think maybe what we'll do with the Xenomorph is dry brush some white on the bottom where he got decapitated, and then go over it with some of the green contrast. Let's see. And we'll just... right around where that was. Yeah. Oh, there we go. That looks good. I like that. Can you see that? Look at that. Pops out. It's not too bright, dark or anything. Try to miss the Venom guy. Okay, cool. Got it. Cool. And right where he got decapitated, where's all the green, which is all the... makes it stand out. Something you can do. They don't have red blood for fleshy bits. I'd consider them done for now, honestly. The basing could definitely use more work, but I've never cared too much about doing basing. I do like that green on there. Dope. Cool. Thanks for watching.